Hi, everyone. It's lovely to have you here. My name is Kalina. I think that most of you know me, but just for clarification purposes, I'm a channel marketing manager at Chaos Group. I'll ask just once again if you can hear me well. I just want to make sure that it's okay for everyone. There's a questions. I'm sure that you're familiar with GoToWebinar, so you know that you can ask questions throughout the webinar. And we have someone from our team that will be answering to those questions as we speak. At the end of the webinar, there's also going to be the official Q&A session. So if you type in your questions, Annie from our product marketing team will try to answer those questions, but the official Q&A will be at the end of the webinar. Today is a very special date because it was supposed to be the first day of Partner Days 2020. And I feel I'm happy that we're here together now in this virtual event, but at the same time, I wish we could also experience Partner Days and Total Chaos. We were supposed to go, just for information, it was supposed to be a secret, but we were supposed to go on a rooftop party for drinks at 6 p.m. today. But hopefully that will happen next year. So this webinar, as you already know, is about Chaos Cloud and the latest updates that we have to share with you. I am sure that you're all familiar with Chaos Cloud. It is a push-button cloud rendering service for artists and designers. There's no hardware to configure and no virtual machines to set up, which makes it a very useful solution in the current situation that we're in, working remotely from home, most of us still. There are a few improvements that we want to share with you in sales and marketing updates. So I will present the speakers that we have today, myself. Then we have Vladimir Dragoev, who is a Chaos Cloud product specialist. He's working across different teams at Chaos in order to plan, specify, and test Chaos Cloud features. And then we have also Yavor Trifonov, who was presenting at Partner Days 2019. So I'm sure that most of you are familiar with him. He's the VP of Cloud Services, New Products and Strategic Partnerships at Chaos Group. And something that basically his department is something that we like to refer to as the incubator at Chaos. So the agenda for today is a brief introduction that we're almost done with. Then we'll have the product updates by Vladi. We'll have sales tools by Yavor. I'll share some marketing resources with you, and there'll be a Q&A session at the end. The schedule is to wrap up everything in around an hour and 10 minutes. I'll try to shorten up my presentation so that you can get back to your workstations faster. And that's it on my end. So I'll leave the floor to Vladi.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Please let me know whether you hear me. Kali. And I'll share my screen.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, sharing now the presentation. Just starting from the end. Okay, just jumping from the start. Do you see my screen? Hopefully, yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So a quick overview first for Chaos Cloud. I guess most of you are familiar what Chaos Cloud is, and Kali already mentioned a quick presentation. But we wanted to stress out the main benefits organized in the three main groups, which we communicate with the users and which we believe the users benefit most and answer their needs. We organize these benefits in simple, smart, and fast groups. So the simple benefits are that the feature is why I say feature, because Chaos Cloud is feature of V-Ray in the end, and that's why I say that it's a simple feature to use for rendering in the cloud. It's a one-click solution button which is built in every V-Ray that we offer for each host application. Also, the users are not don't worry about any maintenance or installations or update of software and hardware, because we take care about it. They just need to have V-Ray and the button inside their host application. The smart features are more, and we are some of them are unique for our solution. We start with smart upload, which means that whenever you upload a scene again, we pick up only the changes and upload them. Everything which is already in the cloud, because you have already sent it there, is skipped and is used again for the next iteration of the scene. And these bits which are already in the cloud, they are only in your account. Also, I already mentioned we are integrated directly in V-Ray in each plugin for each host application that we support. Also, we have VR previews. This is a value-added feature which allows the users to preview the VR images that they have rendered in a web application, which is or not web application, but website, rather a website which is responsive, and you can preview it in a VR set, so that you can immerse in the VR environment fully. Also, we have pause and resume of render jobs and cloning of the jobs. The cloning feature is giving you the ability to render again a job without going through the upload and export and upload process through the host application. We're gradually adding more features in the clone jobs. This means that you'll be able to change some of the end criteria for the rendering of the job. And this will also give you the benefit to render a job from any device you have, because the clone job is available from the website, which is of course available from any web browser you have. And the fast rendering features include, of course, fast rendering, because we are using the top machines in Google Cloud. And also we are continuing development and testing of new machines and distributed rendering and GPUs. So we are gradually updating these machines, and the users will benefit from the increased performance. Also, we offer, of course, first-day support for the latest V-Ray. Right now, you know that V-Ray 5 beta is out there, and we are supporting it from the day one. Also, we have live preview of the results. This means while you're rendering, you can review the results in your web browser, and this means you can review them from your smartphone or from your tablet. You don't need to be on the desktop machine where V-Ray is installed. And also, of course, we are offloading your local machine while rendering, because the rendering is happening in the cloud, and you can continue work with your host application. This speaking from the user's point of view, of course. So next, what's new from the last couple of months, which I will briefly speak about now. Of course, I've again organized the new features in the groups that I mentioned. In the last couple of months, were mainly focused on simple and smart features, and I will go into details later on. I won't read them now. So the first feature, which is part of the simple group, move job. This is actually a feature which was asked for a long time from the users. We had some technical debt to pay before doing it, but now it's available, so you won't be you won't worry that you have submitted the job in the wrong project. Now you'll be able to move it in the right project after rendering it. Then public reporting feature. This is again something important for the users. It gives them the ability to gather statistics and credit usage for their jobs across projects or for a single project. And this will enable them to better estimate future projects or create a billing for a current project easily. Before that, they had to go from job to job and gather the statistics manually. Now it's really easy and convenient to get these statistics. Then just yesterday, we released Google Drive integration. This gives you the ability to integrate with your Google Drive account, and this way the download process is smoother and safer. Each time the job is rendered or completed, actually not the job, it's more accurate to say a frame is completed, the frame is sent to your Google Drive account if you have enabled the automatic save to Google Drive. And the benefit here is for across all jobs, of course, but the animations have even greater benefit because whenever a frame from an animation is ready, it will be saved in Google Drive automatically, if of course the automatic save is enabled. Whereas if you wait for the rendering of the animation locally, not locally, but in the cloud without syncing it, saving it to Google Drive, you have to wait for the whole animation to complete in order to download the frame. Now this is enabled with Google Drive. And of course, there are a lot of features that come out of the box with Google Drive, especially for collaboration, like sharing links to the output images, commenting on them. So kind of we are enabling the collaboration part of Chaos Cloud through this integration, but we will continue into adding these collaboration features inside the cloud as well. Then credit limit per still image. This is as well a great feature for the users to keep them safe from spending too much. When they submit the job, there is a field where they can add value for the credits they are ready to spend, and whenever this limit is reached, the job is paused, the users are notified, and they can go check, review the result and decide whether to continue or whether there is any issue with their job and they want to contact us or just cancel, stop the job. Right now it's available only for still images. We're still working on adding credit limit per frame for the animation jobs, but it's still not available. But for still, it works, and I think it's a great feature. It's already being used a couple of weeks, and users are really happy with it. You can also set the limit for when cloning a job, of course, and also you can change it in real time. While rendering, you can go back and change it accordingly. Bulk delete of jobs, again, kind of important, simple feature which enables the users quickly delete jobs from one project without going through each of their jobs, and I believe this is self-explanatory feature from its name. Output file browser for easier download. Actually, the output file browser is out there for a couple of months already, but we just added features for grouping the outputs by render elements besides file extensions. So this gives the users the ability to download their outputs grouped by the file types they have or by the render elements they have, and it's especially beneficial for jobs with multiple outputs, because sometimes the users don't want to download a raw output. Sometimes they render jobs that have raw output, raw file format outputs, and normal standard, for example, JPEG or PNG formats, which are for preview purposes. And they just want to download the preview images to show them and don't want to download the whole package. Now this is enabled, and it's enabled in a convenient way through a web interface in our web portal. And also they can download, of course, just the render element they need to review locally. Also, we are gradually adding another convenient feature, which will give more information to the users when they submit the job. It's especially important what the naming of the output is for the animation jobs, because the frames have to be named in a special way so that the post-processing tools recognize them. And of course, the users know about it and have set it up in their host application settings, but sometimes they forget, and it will be really convenient for them to see this on submission, during submission of the job, and also during cloning of the job, so that they are aware what the output naming is. Because if they have made a mistake, this means that they have to manually change the output name later on, which for animations is quite tedious job. And right now we have added it for clone job, and we are working on adding it on the submission step, which is the initial step before sending it to the cloud. But it will be really shortly added in the submission step, which is the important thing. And then the users, besides reviewing the naming convention of the outputs, will be able to change this if they have found something they have forgot. We have added support for one more procedural plugin for Maya, V-Ray Scatter, and we have the important thing here is that we have built an infrastructure which we will use for adding other plugins as well. And we will continue with adding more procedural plugins. This is especially important for the animation guys, which need some plugins when rendering in Maya. And so the first step is done with V-Ray Scatter, but we'll continue from there on. What's coming? These are, of course, features which are in the cloud roadmap, and again, we've organized them in the groups that we share with you: simple, smart, and fast. These are a short-term roadmap features. They are scheduled and planned for the next couple of months. Of course, to the end of the year, we have more. But for the next 2 months, we will work on more, adding support for more procedural plugins. For Maya, I mentioned already the naming convention for of the output during submission step. We are continuing with adding more support for cloud storage providers like OneDrive, but we'll continue with more when there is a need, and of course the users send us feedback with requests, but OneDrive is something that is already requested. And of course the main thing is we are testing distributed rendering and the new GPUs that Google Cloud provide us, as they are our infrastructure provider. And while doing this, we are also identifying faster machines. Right now, we are gradually adding some of the new epics from AMD, and they're performing quite well. So we have great hopes here for increasing the performance of the cloud with these tests and planning how to implement them. And another important thing which is coming, and it's part of the self-service portal, which is built in chaosgroup.com website, and it's part of the account of each user. This will be an enterprise account management functionality, which will allow customers to share cloud credits with other users within the same organization. We are testing currently the alpha version locally and with some users, and we are gradually creating a plan how to roll out this feature, because it's requested a lot, and I guess some of you have already heard for such requests from your accounts. And yeah, it's working locally and on testing environment. So we're just making plans how to release it. And of course, we are continuing with adding features, because it will have a lot of features which will be beneficial for the users. And that's it for me. Thank you. This is my email, and you can contact me whenever you have questions or have any request issues, everything, and I will help you. And with that said, I will give the presentation to Kali, or
Yeah,
should
I'll
I
leave the
do
floor
some?
now to Javor. I'm just going to make him a presenter. Thank you,
Thank you.
Vladi.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, great. So hello, everyone. I'm Javor. As Kali mentioned, I've met some of you, not nearly as many of you as I wish I had, and not nearly as many as I wish I could meet in person at Total Chaos. Unfortunately, we can't do that, but I'm really enjoying this opportunity, because it's a great chance to talk to you guys and to share a little bit of our observations over the past year. Now, the main focus of my presentation is to take you through some of the highlights around the new incentives that we're putting together for you. But in order to do that, I would like to take a bit of a step back and share with you some of the observations we've had around the cloud over the past year, as well as our understanding for why we think the cloud is an exciting opportunity for our channel partners. As you know, it's been basically a year and a couple of months since we launched this service as a commercial service. And we've learned quite a bit during that time. And as you know, we've done a few promotions and we've been learning from those as well. So just a brief note, please treat the information that I'll be sharing with you as confidential. There's some sensitive data in there. It's relatively high level, but still it's information that we would like to keep within this group. So first of all, we really believe that Chaos Cloud is a very attractive opportunity, particularly for our channel partners. And that's the case for several reasons. First of all, it's a great complement to your current efforts. You're already experts in selling V-Ray and the existing Chaos Group offers. And as Vladi just described to you, Chaos Cloud is a very well integrated feature or complement to that offering. It's at the same time, it's a brand new revenue stream for you guys potentially, and it's a particularly nice revenue stream because it's a recurring revenue stream that is crisis resilient. I mean, we've had some very interesting observations over the past couple of months, during which we didn't see any declines or impacts onto our sales and consumption with Chaos Cloud. Actually, if anything, there was the opposite effect where we saw consumption go up. Of course, the promotion was in play during that time, but even so, Chaos Cloud's performance has been quite consistent during those periods. To summarize, it's a new revenue stream. It's a resilient and a recurring revenue stream. It gives you an opportunity to add an additional service to what you're already offering to your customers, and it's also a great opportunity to engage with customers who are beginning to think about how to switch away from capital expenditures into more flexible operating expenses, especially in this environment where fixed costs can put quite a lot of pressure on profitability. Solutions which offer more flexible operating expense driven services can be very attractive. If you want to use it, you use it. You don't have to pay rent, electricity, staff, and all of that to maintain your own on-premise capacities. Traditional software as a service benefits apply here. In addition to that, it's attractive because it's fully integrated in every V-Ray platform, as Vali already described. And in addition to that, we're putting in a lot of effort into making sure that every V-Ray user can try it without any barriers. So anybody who purchases V-Ray, they will be able to click the button and they will be able to render something. We're working towards effectively attaching a few credits as a trial to every new purchase, which will make it possible for anybody who owns V-Ray to engage with this service and try it out. And as you know, we're actively and aggressively promoting it and investing in marketing to drive adoption and penetration of the service. So it's a great moment to think about how you can participate in this growth. And last but not least, our analysis and our observations show that there is a lot of headroom here in terms of growth. Over this past year, Chaos Cloud has become basically one of the top, if not the biggest, commercial V-Ray render farm out there. So it has grown very quickly, and it has basically proven our hypothesis that there is a need for such a service and such an offering. And we still have a long way to go to the heights which we observed during our free beta program. If you remember, when we were testing this service in late 2018, beginning of 2019, we had the opportunity to offer a lot of free credits for people to try it out. And during that period, we effectively observed that in a single month, we recorded usage volumes that are equal to the entire annual volume of some of our top render farm partners out there. So think about that. In a single month, we were seeing usage that's equivalent to an entire year of consumption in an otherwise commercialized service. Of course, free is free, and that's very important. So ever since we introduced pricing, we're not seeing those volumes, but we're growing quite consistently. As a reminder, this is a summary of the current offering and pricing that we have available. We decided to just put that out there to remind everyone. First of all, just to make sure everyone is aware that the promotional period that we had for the last 2 months has ended, and now we're back to our standard offering. As you know, we've run several promotions, one in the fall, one just now, and we're learning quite a bit about the price sensitivity and the sort of demand elasticity of our customers relative to pricing. And there's more for us to learn. So as this is a new service, a growing service, expect us to do more experimentation, but we're currently working with this base offering where we have several different packages which customers have to prepay to buy, and we've sized them in basically smaller, medium, and larger sizes with increasing volume discounts. I imagine most of you are familiar with those. Now, Before we go to the details around the new incentives, I want to share with you a few details about what customers are saying and what behavior we're seeing on the cloud platform, because I think that will be useful to you to understand who the customer is and how they use the platform. First of all, customers overwhelmingly choose Chaos Cloud for the simplicity of the workflow. Now, in every survey that we run, basically the same answer, we get the same answer. The top reason for choosing Chaos Cloud over other solutions is the ease of use. Just a moment. More than 80% of people say that when it comes to the workflow, Chaos Cloud is better or much better than any other solution they have ever tried. And this is the main reason they recommend the product to others as well. Most job submissions to the Chaos Cloud are basically for still images. This is a lot of information to take at first, but what this graph shows effectively is where do the job submissions come from? Which platforms do they come from? And there are 4 major platforms that they come from: 3D Studio Max, Maya, SketchUp, Rhino. Now, what this graph also shows is the split between job submissions that are animations and still images. And you can see that in sheer number of submissions, still images are basically dominant. The majority of submissions are for still images. However, if you look at the actual consumption, animations are actually responsible for nearly half of all the consumptions that we see on the Chaos Cloud. So 6% of submissions are animations, and they account for 47% of the total number of credits used on the cloud. And as you can see, the big ones in terms of consumption are Max, Maya, and SketchUp. And Rhino is kind of a slightly distant third. So these are your target customers and the target use cases that they have. Right? Half of it is for still images, half of it is for animations. All the animations, well, not all, but effectively the vast majority of them come from 3D Studio Max and Maya users, and the vast majority of still renderings come from SketchUp and Max users. So if we dive a little bit further, I pulled out some numbers to give you a sense for how big a typical job is. And effectively, customers on average spend between 1 and 3 credits to render a still image. So this puts into perspective some of our package offerings. Basically, with a package for 100 credits, which costs $100, you can render between 100 and between 30 and 100 images. At the same time, they spend about 0.1 to 0.2 credits per animation frame, which translates into about 20 to 30 credits per animation job. So that gives you some perspective around what a single customer can do with the package that they purchase. The main point that I want to make here is that this is a recurring business. This is a breakdown over the past 12 months for the revenue split between new and repeat business that we experience. And you can see that more than half, nearly half, and more than half of the revenue that we see every month comes from recurring customers, from repeat customers. And that's pretty consistent. Even more, if you look at some of the first cohorts of customers that we have, those that we that joined the platform in March and April of last year. And if you look at what happened over the last year with them, you can see that about 47% of them had only one purchase, but about 53% of them had at least two purchases during the course of the year, and 15% of them had more than 5 purchases during the course of the year. So those two graphs should indicate to you that this is a very much a recurring business, and there's an opportunity here to bring in a new customer and then draw and sort of build on the customer lifetime value of this customer by selling to them multiple times during the course of the year. And in that context, we felt that it's going to be important to think about how to incentivize and reward our partners to bring in more customers and benefit from that recurring revenue. So obviously, when you work with customers and they continue to buy from you, you earn that revenue. But in some cases, there may be the case when you put a lot of effort and you invest in bringing a new customer to the platform to sell them Chaos Cloud, and then for a follow-on purchase, they come to the Chaos Group online store, and you basically miss on the opportunity to capitalize on the recurring revenue for that customer. And what we're introducing here is a program which enables you to actually capitalize on that. And effectively, the policy says that if you bring in a new customer on the platform and that customer later comes and buys again directly from Chaos Group, we will reimburse you at your reseller margin, your partner margin for that purchase that the customer made directly, minus the transaction costs and the administrative costs that we incur. The program starts effectively next week, and we will run it initially through the end of this year. What this means is that all the new customers that you bring on board between now and the end of the year will be effectively eligible for this. The orders that they make will be eligible for this extended commission. In terms of eligibility, this program will be available to partners who are 2 stars, 3 stars, and distributors, and have a good standing with Chaos Group. Distributors should take care of transferring that commission to their sub-resellers. In terms of what transactions are eligible for this, it has to be a new customer that you bring into the platform, and the orders that this customer makes through the Chaos Group online store must have occurred within a year of the last transaction they've had with the partner, with you. Effectively, if you bring someone in and then they buy a few times from the online store, if they don't interact with you for more than a year, we consider that they're now a direct customer. But if you do interact with them, as long as they purchase something from the partner in the past 12 months, then any purchase they make of Chaos Cloud credits through the online store will be credited to you. More specifically, the exact formula is you will basically be getting your partner margin off of the revenue we make for those transactions minus administrative costs. And by administrative costs, we primarily mean transaction costs, which vary. So they vary with the transaction size. But if you take transactions of 100 euros or larger, you can expect an average of about 4 to 5% in transaction cost of the value of the transaction. In terms of how you will get paid, this extended commission will be calculated and aggregated a couple of times a year, just to avoid too much paperwork. We will keep the door open if material amounts of commission accumulate to pay it out earlier, of course. And the way it will work is we will be providing you with a report of all the orders that are eligible for this. And based on this report, you will be able to invoice us so that we can transfer payment. We're also working on a number of additional tools for you. There's one more mechanism which we've developed, which has been around for a while, but it hasn't been used enough, and that's the sales enablement credits. So every channel manager and every region has a budget allocated for additional evaluation credits. And this can be useful when you are working with a potential customer who requires more credits to test and evaluate the service than what a typical trial provides. A Chaos Cloud trial, standard trial, gives you 20 credits. And with this, you can request a lot more. You can request 100, 500, 1,000. It's considered and evaluated on a case-by-case basis. And when you need it, you should talk to your designated channel manager to get it approved and allocated. And there's more to come. We're working on helpful statistics and helpful data that will help you target your customers better and get a better understanding for who you should go after. And also, we're thinking about ways and building tools that can help you in conversations with customers, especially when it comes down to making decisions around whether to maintain a local capacity versus signing up to a software as a service such as the Chaos Cloud. So, we are focusing our attention on taking away any barriers or any concerns you have for pursuing this opportunity. I want to strongly encourage you to go after it because we see a lot of upside potential, and we have seen it in our direct sales. We think there is a lot of untapped potential in the channel through you, especially when it comes down to larger customers, medium-sized and larger accounts, where you guys can be very helpful, and you already have those relationships. This can be a great complement to the offerings you have for them. And that's why we're building those incentives, and we're open to suggestions for how to improve them or how to make it even easier for you to work in that direction. We're also this is also being taken into account in our product development roadmap. As Vladi described to you, those enterprise features are on the roadmap, and we're working hard at delivering those because we know that those medium-sized and larger accounts need them and are important for them. So stay tuned. We're working both on the product side, on the commercial side, on the marketing side, on the partner side to help you sell better. And please, let us know how we can help and how we can accelerate this together with you. That's it for me. Sorry for taking a bit longer, but we budgeted some time for questions.
Thank you, Javor.
Kalina, I guess.
Yeah, I'll take it now and take the floor for a bit, and then we'll open up for questions. Give me just a second. Okay. So can you see my screen? I guess you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's it.
So I just want to briefly go over the marketing materials that we have prepared alongside the product marketing team, and I've opened the portal so that I can guide you through. I can show you directly where you can find those materials. So basically, you go to resources, and you enter into the product kits folder. So when it comes to releases and product updates or special offers, we always update also the campaign section with the relevant product information. But all relevant product documentation can be found in the product kits, and they are divided by product. So we need to scroll down to go to all the way to Chaos Cloud. And because we have numerous materials which are available for you on the portal, and it's sometimes difficult to guide your way through those, we've decided to create a Chaos Cloud Partner Resources Kit. So just download the kit and I'll show it to you. So basically the resources kit lists all the relevant documentation that we have prepared for you. And all the relevant documentation we have prepared for you. Give me a second. Yeah, there's a description for each of the documents and also an explanation for what it helps with. There's also a checkbox here which indicates whether this material is for localization or not. The materials which are for localization are those which can be presented to and used for end user interaction or for customer presentation. So the first item on the list is something that we've been working on in the last couple of weeks. I'm super happy that we finally managed to complete it. And in the times that we're currently in, and given that we are all working from home, there are some positive things from that because we're able to focus a lot on digital. So this is one of the effects. This is what I'm going to share with you is a visual and content guide for Chaos Cloud pages. We're working on a series of website guidelines and e-store guidelines for you so that you know what is the optimal way for you to construct your CG related, Chaos Group related pages. I've also placed links here so that you can directly land in the relevant section where you can find the material that we're referring to here. Here are the website guidelines. I'm just going to download the guidelines. Yeah, so for each document, we usually start with a document overview. You have content guidelines as part of the website guidelines. And basically here we're suggesting that in case you either localize the content or you try to be a bit more creative while reusing it. And that is for the purpose of improving your ranking because it could be harmful for your SEO if 100 of you copy and paste the same content. So it's important to adjust the content that we have provided. Product overview, and here in the beginning there is a mock-up of the landing page for Chaos Cloud. And you have a product overview section with video embedded, case study section which is optional, and it's very useful if you preferable if you localize it. So if you have local case studies that you can use. Key features, pricing options, cost estimations. I'll get to this a bit later. It's important to also have a trial download option on your web page. Client testimonials are optional, and again, it would be better if they're localized. Showcase gallery, which is optional, and again, better if localized. Then you have a wireframe structure of the same structure that I showed you with images, and the next thing is like is a breakdown section by section, and the breakdown includes the content and also information about the specific documentation where you can find updated information regarding key benefits, etc. So I won't go over the whole document. It's very detailed. It's 22 pages, not because it's a lot of written content, but because we wanted to make it very easy and clear for you to actually implement it. So we'll be working on a similar material for education pages and products, and also for the array for the rest of the DCC platforms. Give me a second. So the next item that we have here are images. I just click on those and you can find the images that we have currently provided and you can use on the partner portal. Next come the case studies. There are 3 case studies that we've currently uploaded. You can use them to post them on your website. You can use them as examples that you can show to potential customers. and they're basically inspirational material which you can use. And if you click here, you'll find them in the case study section. So I'll just open one to give you an example. There's one, Landmark by Beauty and the Bit. You have also all the videos embedded. The next item here is a battle card. A battle card is basically a partner-facing document, which means it's a document which is meant for your to be used by you, by the partner, and it has benefits and competitive advantages of our product with respect to other product offers. And it helps with partner sales readiness. It helps to equip and inform your salespeople to help them handle objections, and to outline the advantages of cloud versus other solutions. Next comes the battle card. I'm going to click to show you where it is. The battle card is in the sales materials section. So here's the battle card. I don't know if you're familiar with the document, but I'll also open it up so you can check it out. Just like to give you a brief overview. We have customer testimonials here as well. The next document is the product sheet. The product sheet basically includes all the features of the product, and again helps to with partner sales readiness and to equip your salespeople with talking points. It can also be provided as a collateral for your customers for meetings. It could be used as a reference point to update your website. And the product sheet again is located in the sales materials section of the partner portal. Then we have sample scenes. Basically, there have been questions by end users about cost estimations and the time that it would take for them to render an image in the cloud. So we have outlined some examples here. You can include them. I mean, it's a reference point for you in your conversations with your customers, something that you can refer to if they ask such questions, and you can show them the time that a sample image, a specific image, would take to render approximately, and amount of credits. The next item we have on the list are videos. So I've basically linked to our YouTube channel with all the available videos that we have for Chaos Cloud. The next item is the pricing and licensing document that I think is probably the document that you're most familiar with. I don't think it needs further explanation. And once again, this document is located in the the sales materials. Just give me a second. In the sales materials section of the partner portal. You have also banners which are provided on the portal. We've also provided them in PSD format so that you can adapt them. And they can be used for digital campaigns to drive product demand generation and awareness. There are also a bunch of items that are coming out soon. A calculator, which is going to be an Excel-based tool for demonstrating the dollar value of using a pay-as-you-go cloud service versus maintaining a server farm. Another item is helpful data points, which is data on geographical spread and penetration, host platform attachment rates, credit usage, and repurchasing patterns. Product presentations, which can be used when you're going on client meetings, and for non-English speaking countries can be localized. Product personas, a document which basically helps you to describes potential Chaos Cloud customers, their profile, the needs that they may have, and finally, a copy of a trial nurtures template, so that you can implement a trial nurture campaign for the leads that you get through your free trials. And I guess that's it on my end. I just thought it's important to give you an overview, given that it's a lot of different documentation, and it's nice to have it just in one hub and to be able to reference through that hub to the different materials we have provided. I'll open up now for questions that you may have. Please type them in, and Javor, Vladi, and myself will try to answer to those questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let me read some of the questions we have in the question and answer section. I've answered a couple, and we'll answer some of the others, and we'll add answers there in the chat, and we'll also give the word to Javor to answer some of the questions for which he has answered. So first, Percy has asked Percy the Rua. Sorry if I'm pronouncing not correctly your name. Sorry. So the question is, what if users want to use Google Cloud only for GI calculation, irradiance map, not the final image? Is it possible? Currently, you can calculate GI and irradiance map, but we won't generate files for it, and you won't be able to download it separately. It's part of the whole rendering process. And also, we advise users to use light cache instead, because when you're calculating light cache, it can be paused and resumed from its current state. Whereas for irradiance map, it can't be paused, and if the job is paused for whatever reason, it can be a technical reason, or the users can pause the job as well. The irradiance map calculation till that point will be lost, and next time the job is resumed, the irradiance map will continue from start. So this is lost calculation, lost credits, lost time. That's why we advise to use light cache, or if possible, the users to calculate the irradiance map locally and submit it with the scene when submitting to Chaos Cloud. Second question from Percy: does Chaos Cloud provide support for jobs triggered from RTX on settings? Yes, Chaos Cloud will render scenes which are submitted with the RTX turned on. But we render them in hybrid CUDA mode only on CPUs. This means that the result will look as expected, as the users expected it, but we won't use RTX. RTX will come when we add native GPU support, and I mentioned in the presentation that we're currently testing native GPUs from GCP, from Google Cloud, and when this is available, and when we add the GPUs in for the users, RTX will be also supported. Next question from Bashkar Rahman. sorry again if I'm not pronouncing correctly. Thus, the cloud services give us an option to tweak the BIOS settings of the machines to speed up rendering, as we build our own workstations and rendering machines and bundle it with V-Ray, FSDK, SDK, and software, etc. No, the short answer is no. This is again was part of the benefits I mentioned in the presentation. We take care of the maintenance and installation of the software and the hardware and updating it. We also strive to have the best performing machines available for the users. We treat each user with the same highest priority. That's why our waiting time is this. I could have mentioned it as well. Sorry, I forgot. But the waiting times for rendering in the cloud are minimal, and users acknowledge this and appreciate it a lot compared to other solutions, other cloud rendering solutions. They don't have to pay extra for it. Their jobs will be picked up as soon as a machine is available, and we strive to have spare rendering machines all the time. So whenever a new job from a new user comes in, it straight starts to render. And I mentioned already, we are also looking for the best performing machines so that the users don't have to worry about tweaking them and making them faster. I can mention that right now for steels, we are working with 72 core machines to 96 cores. It depends on some situations, but we strive to go to the highest, to the higher. Still not working 100% with 96 cores, but we might even go above that for the epics, and they are performing better than Intel's. And also the RAM memory is 128 gigabytes. And for 90% of the jobs, this is working quite well and helps the users a lot. And for the rest of the users, we are testing and planning the distributed rendering. But for now, we still don't have good results with DR. That's why we haven't enabled it. So we are making a lot of things in order to save this work for you and not to worry for tweaking the machines and for thinking how to make them faster. We're not. That's why we're not communicating as well what the machines are. We're constantly improving them, and they're not the same all the time. We are just improving them constantly. One more question from Robert Van D. What if a customer asks for support on Chaos Cloud errors? They can go through this normal support process. They can send us a support ticket in support. We have a forum as well dedicated for the cloud. And actually, the Chaos Cloud process of sending a support ticket and feedback is made quite easy. You have a send feedback button inside the cloud portal while you're reviewing your results, for example, or you're setting up some of your options, or whatever you're doing in the portal. There is always a floating button on the right hand side. You can expand it, and there will be model window open. A window will open, which will offer the user to send a short description with some subject and topic from a drop-down. So we make the process convenient and easy for the users to send us feedback. So I will add these answers to Bhaskar and Robert, and maybe Javor can read as well his answer to Kai and Victor.
Yeah, So Kai's question is, how much is the administration fee? The administration fee is primarily driven by our transaction costs. So when somebody purchases something on our online store, we also have to pay a fee to the online store e-commerce provider that we use, and that we haven't fixed it because it varies, but it varies primarily for small transactions. For larger transactions, such as the $100/100 €, which is the minimum size package you can purchase, it is very safe to assume that the cost will be between 4 and 5% of the price of the package. So if your partner margin is X, you can X%, you can take between 4 and 5% out of that, and that's what the size of the extended commission will be on the end user price. I think Victor's comment is a compliment. So thank you for the compliment, I guess, on behalf of the marketing team. It's about the guide. Let us know how we can improve that stuff. I mean, these are not set in stone. If there's other information you need, or if you're getting specific feedback from customers or questions, please use the channel managers as a means to get the information to us, and we will do our best to respond and to adapt the materials, our messaging, our offering. All of that feedback is very welcome. As I said during the presentation, we still consider Chaos Cloud as a new product, new service in incubation mode, and that's why we are flexible with experimentations. We try to be bold with things that we try, and we try to listen as much as possible for feedback from partners and customers, and so we can direct our efforts in the right direction. So please keep it coming.
Okay, if there are any last questions, we will be sharing a recorded version of the presentation, but please do keep in mind that it's only for your use. It's confidential, and we'll also share links to the partner portal and to the documentation that I just displayed and I walked you through. Thank you so much for the time taken. We were around 100 people in the house, so it was really nice. And hopefully we'll also have a live reunion soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.